Are you looking to move to Winder, Georgia? Well, today I'm going to take you into my computer and we're going to jump into and show you kind of a bird's eye view of what it might be like to live in Winder, Georgia. Hopefully give you a good idea of the kind of the location and get you just a good idea if that's what works for you, especially because Winder is a smaller community. It might be a little bit further out depending on if you're commuting into Atlanta or Athens, just those areas. So that way you can get a good idea of what it might be like to commute and all those sorts of things. We're going to also show you a little bit about some of the homes in Winder, get you kind of familiar of what you might be able to afford within your budget, because that is one of the main reasons why a lot of people move to Winder right now is the affordability. And so get you a good idea of what you could possibly purchase with your budget. So let's jump right into it. But if you are really fast, if you are new to this channel, my name is Samuel Stott. And as of 2 years ago, my wife and I moved out here to Georgia from out west and have loved being here ever since. And so if you want to be one of the first to know about what it's like to move and live in Winder, Georgia or the surrounding areas, be sure to subscribe, hit that notification button, and make sure that way you can know all there is to know about what it's like to live in this area. And without further ado, let's jump right into the video. All right. So here we go. Here is Winder, Georgia, and we're going to zoom out a little bit more. So here we go. Okay. Here is Winder, Georgia, and as you can see, we are right here. So you can kind of get a good idea, hopefully, of where we're located comparative to these kind of major cities. So you got Athens, which is where UGA is at. If you're a Dogs fan, go Dogs right out there. You got Athens, Georgia. And then you've got this whole area, which is kind of, I'd like to, it's kind of the suburbs of Atlanta, the very last of the suburbs. This is Gwinnett County, very, very massive county right here. And then you've got, of course, Atlanta. So this is a good little location where you can see where Winder, there's kind of this gap in between the final suburbs of Atlanta and Athens. And then you've got Winder smack in the middle, which it's not quite as small as like these cities, Auburn, Statham's right here. But it is a little bit bigger, but it is still that small town with, a population of only 18,000 people. It is still a small town, but it is growing a lot. It's part of that Barrow County area it's receiving a lot of growth because people are wanting to move, away from the hustle and bustle and get to a little slower pace of life, something more affordable. And so if that's something you're looking for, Winder might be the place for you. And so, but let's also talk about some of the, logistical things of living in Winder. That way you're not just moving here and all of a sudden you're like, oh man, I have to drive an hour and a half to get into Atlanta all the time and I commute there. So we want to make sure you got the information right before you move out here. Part of what makes Winder pretty, in my opinion, pretty great is and this is a good pro, is the accessibility. You've got these two kind of major roads. You've got I-85, of course, a freeway right here that connects you right into Atlanta. So right into Atlanta, you got this that's a horrible line. But anyways, you got I-85 right there. And then you've got this road right here, which is called 316 or Highway 29. That connects you right to Athens. Also connects you into Lawrenceville, Gwinnett County, and to Atlanta. You can get right onto I-85 from 316. And it's a really easy access. That is probably the only area that you actually get a little bit of congestion in Winder is people getting on to 316. They're doing a little bit of construction there. They're, preparing for the growth is kind of what we like to say. They're making some bridges, making it easier to get on to 316. But because of that, there are lights. So you will find a little congestion there during kind of rush hours, early in the morning when people are going to work. 5 o'clock in the afternoon, you're going to find that. And then of course, the only other place you're going to find congestion is in the downtown part. And that's just because there's lights there. So, just so you know, you're not necessarily, I just want to make sure you're aware, there is still a little bit of traffic, but it's nowhere near comparable to Atlanta. I wouldn't say traffic, I'd just say congestion, because just gets a little crowded in that area. I'd say that's one of the only cons, really. Well, not the only cons, but like a con for Winder, of course. But with Winder, you do have this kind of, what's nice with that accessibility is it makes it to where everything that you kind of maybe want, depending on what your needs are, is within that kind of 40-minute range. And I'd say it's kind of this like if we just draw a little circle like that, yeah, roughly that's about like 40-minute drive all in this area, maybe a little bit further out like this. Anyways, all this area, so you got like Beaufort, Duluth, Lawrenceville, Snellville, of course Athens. These are all those cities where, if you have to commute somewhere, you might be commuting to those areas. That's where some jobs are at. Some businesses are moving to those areas or are in those areas. And so you may be commuting into there, and you're looking at about a 40-minute drive. Now, the further you get into Atlanta, of course, the longer of a drive. And into Atlanta, it's about an hour, I'd say an hour and a half, I'm going to say, just averaging, because some days it's an hour 15. Other days you're looking at almost 2 hours, depending on the traffic. Other times it may just be, you know, hour 30. So it's just kind of, it varies right in that area where you might be getting there quicker, slower, especially, you know, if there's an accident that does slow things down. During rush hours, you're going to be a lot slower. So when you're driving into Atlanta, if you commute right into the downtown of Atlanta, I just be aware it's an hour and a half. You're going to be taking 3 hours at least out of your day getting into Atlanta. They do have the toll roads, so that can make it a little bit easier, but it's just important to understand that as well. If you're commuting a little bit closer, maybe more like Norcross, you might be looking at an hour. It's just important to understand that. If you're flying into the airport, which is right down in this area, you've got a couple little routes. So if you travel a lot, or if you have family coming and visiting and you got to go pick them up, you know, you can take I-85 right through Atlanta downtown, and then you ride to the airport. Solid. I mean, as I've said, it's about an hour and a half, 2 hours, just depending on the day, your luck, as I say. And then you've got other options where if, you know, you want to just hop onto 316, depending on what part of Winder, because right here you got this Winder highway that takes us right up to the I-85. If you're kind of on the more north side of Winder, you might be taking that. That's a little faster. If you're on the more southern side, you just basically drive right down through here, right down this way, right kind of next to Fort Yargo, and then you hop onto 316, take it 316 up to 85, and there you go. The other option is, as you're getting in, if your maps advises you to take 285, that's kind of like the belt route. It takes you right around Atlanta. You can always take that, but it's pretty similar. The time distance is sometimes it just will recommend that because there's some traffic going on there. The other option, and this is my favorite route, I'm giving this as a recommendation, but I have people that tell me they don't like this route. I love this route. And for me, it's because I like to know consistently, this is how long it is. It doesn't really vary the timing. Whereas these other routes, oftentimes if it's, you know, in the morning, really, really early, or really late at night, hour 15, I can cruise there really fast. But during those rush hour times, this route I like because there's not a lot of people that take it. And so it tends to be faster. For me, I've had luck. My wife has not had that same luck. But you take that highway right down here, Highway 11, onto I-20, and man, my drawing is off today. Take I-20 right into the airport, and you can even see, I mean, just take a look at this. Here's all the people. You see all this like kind of white, there's green, that's where people aren't living. White is where you got more people, more communities, businesses, all that. Everybody's cruising right onto this I-85, right? Down here on Highway 20, there's just not as much. You don't have as much people cruising onto this freeway. So it just, you have less of a chance of more traffic or accidents happening, and it's just, I like it. That's my favorite route, but that route is consistently an hour and 40. You're not going to get faster than that, and it might even be an hour 50, but it's like hour 40, hour 50 consistently though. And for me, I like that. I like knowing like, hey, I'm an hour 40, getting to the airport, getting back, hour 40, that's it, I'm done. I don't have to worry about the, you know, oh, I gotta drive so long or whatever. Anyways, it's that's just my preference. And you know, my wife doesn't like that route. I think it's so great, and it's kind of peaceful. I grew up in a smaller town, and so for me, I don't like lots of traffic. And so one of the things I loved Winder was for that reason, was there's just less traffic. I felt like I was, you know, I had access to everything I needed, but I didn't need to drive, you know, tons. And if I did drive, there wasn't a lot of traffic for me. And so I appreciate that. The only problem with where I grew up was our nearest grocery store was 30 minutes. In Winder, we don't have that. So I appreciate Winder a lot more because we have like 6 different grocery stores right here in Winder, and you can pick whichever one you want. You know, if you got brand choices, you can pick the brand. If you just want to go to the closest one, you've got multiple options. So that's kind of, hopefully that gives you a good idea at least of routes and getting around. Because for example, I mean, with Winder, again, right here, we don't have a Costco. You know, hey, hopefully Costco's listening. Let's get a Costco in Winder. It'd be great. But there is a Costco here in Athens, and then there's a Costco here up in Buford, both about 30 minutes away. I mean, you can literally pick and choose. They're like about the same in miles from each other. So you really have the option of saying, oh, I'm going to cruise out to Athens, or I'm going to cruise to Buford. It's just whichever one you want to take that day. If you want to go to Buford for some activities, that's one of the cons I'd say with Winder is we don't have a lot of attractions, you could say. There's outdoor attractions, and I'll show you kind of those things. But when you talk about like business attractions, like arcades, go-karts, you know, Top Golf, nightlife kind of things, we have restaurants, but like if you're wanting a lot, like, I don't know, a lot of options in terms of restaurants, we don't have that. And so when you talk about like attractions, we do lack in that a little bit more here in Winder. And so, you know, going to Athens, you've got a lot of that options. In Buford, you've got a lot. You've got Top Golf up there, go-karting stuff in Buford, all in that area. And then of course, if you get into Atlanta, you've got, concerts. I mean, you have concerts actually in Buford. You have actually concerts up here in Gainesville, right above, right over here in this area, up in this area. It's just up on the map. I can't see it right now. But you've got, you can go to concerts. We just don't really have that here. We have local concerts, which is great, but not like, you want to go to a, I don't know, Post Malone concert. You can't really. Sadly, probably not going to come to Winder. Maybe he will. After watches this video and wants to move to Winder, he'll come to Winder. Anyways, you got, of course, or even right here, you got Lake Lanier. I mean, you want to go boating on the weekend? Lake Lanier is right there. I mean, so close. It's a massive lake, and you can go take your boat, get on it. Within 40 minutes, you're at Lake Lanier boating. You got other kind of lakes and like ponds and stuff all around here that you can go cruise down to, go fishing. Even further down this way, you have Lake Hartwell, which is up north about an hour 40. So if you're wanting to just get to an even more secluded lake, you've got that one up there. So Winder just has this really easy access to all those areas. We just we do lack in some things, but you have access to a lot of it. So it's one of those things, you weigh that out. If you want to be close to everything and right in your neighborhood, Winder may not be the place for you. But if you're okay to be able to drive a little bit, Winder could be. It's, if you're looking for affordability and you're looking for kind of that small town feel, Winder could be the place for you. Let's now dive into a little bit closer. Let's get a more closer look of Winder. I'm kind of zooming in a little bit more, looking at Winder. Just hopefully I can explain this right. So Bethlehem, you can see right down here, you've got Bethlehem. This is a city. I mean, this is Winder. Bethlehem is right there, and we kind of, at least for me, it's pretty interchangeable. You easily get to Bethlehem. Bethlehem is a lot more kind of it's a really growing city so there's going to be a lot of more shopping centers, a lot more just stuff there because they're growing. And so right now, this is where, right over here, you're going to see there's a shopping center that has Target, Publix, Home Goods, the movie theater's right across the street. On this side, you've got PetSmart, TJ Maxx, Home Depot is right over on this side, which is still kind of technically Bethlehem. You also have Hobby Lobby, and there's a lot of more stuff is growing over there. There's a lot more space for them to kind of go build more, businesses, get more stuff out there. And then they're also building a new Kroger right on this corner. So you got Kroger over here. And as I mentioned, you have grocery stores here in Winder. You're not like stranded in the middle of no man's land where you don't got nothing. We have grocery stores. So that's all kind of over here in Bethlehem. And so I just want you to be aware of that. Bethlehem is right there. It is just like a lot of people not travel because it's like being in the same city. You're right next door. So just so you're aware of that. As well, up here, kind of closer to Winder, we do have a little more kind of shopping centers. Right here is where you're going to have a gym there. There's a gym down in this area as well, but you have a gym up there, and then we've got our kind of shopping centers, and I'll dive a little more into the Winder part now, so that way you can see this. So now jumping into what Winder has to offer, because that's what we're talking about here, right? Right over here, you've got Walmart. Over on this side, you can even see Farmers Furniture. So you got your farmers, you got your Tractor Supply right over here. All your feed, food, chickens, all that stuff is in that area. Then over on this side, you got your Ace Hardware right here. Again, you got your DIY stuff. You have your Home Depot. You got Ace, Tractor Supply. All that stuff is right there. Over here, you've got another grocery store. This is Ingles, which is kind of like if you're from the West, it's like Smith's, kind of Kroger stuff as well. Very similar feel. Might be the same company. Honestly, I have no clue. Anyway, it feels like it's the same company sometimes. Publix is right over here. And then, I marked it, but it's pointing at it right there. And then down here, you've got another Publix over in this area, in this kind of shopping center area. You've got another Publix. You've got those grocery stores there. You've got a hospital right up here. So this is part of like the NG, it's like North Georgia Medical Group hospital right here with an emergency room. So, you're not driving super far. If you have an emergency, heaven forbid you have an emergency. I hope nobody watching this video has to go to the emergency room, but you do have that there. So you're not stranded. Of course, hey, you even got your Winder Barrow Speedway right up there. You want to go check out a car, car racing. It's right up in that. It's like dirt tracks, pretty fun stuff right up there. But you do have a lot of those kind of, as I say, it's like the necessities, the things that it's nice to have in your town. You can get to them. You can get to stuff that you need. DIY, like working on your home. You're trying to do some upgrades, whatever. You got all that right here in Winder within, again, 10 minutes, depending on what part of Winder you live in. You've got at least all of that stuff right here. This is kind of I'd say, no, I'd say this is the downtown part of Winder. So we're going to zoom into that area, but that's where you're going to get a lot of the more local mom and pop boutiques, all that kind of stuff in this area. So let's zoom in. So now we zoomed in. This right here, this is your downtown area of Winder. This is where you're going to have a lot of kind of the community events, but as I've mentioned, the boutiques, all those kind of mom and pop shops. You've got the local cuisines. That's the things that are just makes Winder famous. You've got right here, Smoking Po' Boys. That's one of the first restaurants I ate here in Winder. And then right across the street over on this side, you've got like Gabrielle's, phenomenal brunch place. We take everybody that comes to visit us, we take them there. It is so good. So if if you're not moving to Winder, but you just come and pass through, go check out Le Gabrielle's. It's so good. I love Le Gabrielle's. Anyways, I could go eat there all the time. But anyways, you got that right there. You've got other restaurants like Casey's, which is kind of it's super famous. It's only open 4 hours a day. There's this local hamburger shop, super good food as well. I'm recommending all these things just because I do appreciate they're a great company. They're great businesses. I love going and eating there. But that's where you're going to find down there. You also have a little food truck area. So right on this kind of corner right here, on Friday nights, you can go eat it with some food trucks. So you go, just show up. They've got lights and everything outside. You've got the like little benches and stuff to go eat, and then food trucks will be there, so you can go eat there. Right here is our it's called Jug Tavern Park, and so this park is where they have concert events, and you can go watch live music. It's really cool. Like, that's just where they host a lot of the community events, and that's one of the things that makes Winder special, and maybe it could be a pro. I think it's a pro, is you do have that just small town community feel where there's a lot of just the fun events. You're not like, there's always something you can go do in the community, and it makes it fun where you feel like you're connected to the community. You're around a lot of you get to meet people around here, and so you're not just like living your life. You can actually be a part of something. And over here on this area, this is a great kind of segue into this. So this right here is a park that they just built called Legacy Park, and it was built by the community. So like on it, they said built by the community for the community. And this new park for kids where they've got like climbing things, this massive climbing tower that you can go, if I was a kid, I'd spend hours on that thing. You can go zip lining, not zip lining, but there's a zip line there, swings, lots of places to run. You got a little walking trail around there, and they're going to continue building stuff. So they're actually going to have a dog park in there. They have like a treehouse plan. Lots of fun stuff there. And so that's right off of downtown. So you can go into downtown, walk around, and you can cruise right over here, go hang out at the park, or you go to a little live concert. Lots of little things to do here in Winder. So that's why I say, where we don't have attractions, you could say. There are attractions here, there is stuff. It's just not like bigger cities. They're just kind of smaller stuff, and that's what makes it kind of special. Down this way as well, right off of you can see there's Main Street. There's like downtown part of Winder, and right here, this whole big green area, this is Fort Yargo. So Fort Yargo is their state park here in Winder, and so you can actually go to this lake. You can go fishing, you can go swimming, you can go paddleboarding, jump on your canoe, whatever it is. You can't go boating like big wake boats. It's not that big of a lake, but it still is a really nice lake. So as you come in, this is actually the entrance right here. You can go to the little visitor center right here on this corner, and then you actually drive in further right here, and right down here is where they just finished building the new beach area. So you've got my family and I just went out there. It's you got miniature golf. Like I said, this whole miniature golf area. You have disc golf, so they're finishing that. It's not quite done yet, but they're going to be having disc golf. You've got pickleball courts, a whole beach area that you can go swimming in, and then there's a ton of just like picnic areas and barbecue stuff. So you go spend the day there. You can easily go spend a full day there, swimming in the lake, hanging out with just the family, cooking up some food, all that stuff. You've got all in this corner like nook area of Fort Yargo. As well, with Fort Yargo, you've got hiking trails that go all throughout Fort Yargo. So you got this one that kind of follows the lake. You can kind of see the little path. And there's kind of two main trails. These are hiking and mountain biking trails. So one kind of goes like this. It's the inner loop, and then you've got an outer loop. And now I'm definitely butchering this drawing, but man, I I don't have enough control. Here we go. Anyways, go to this outer loop. It's these trails are roughly 6 miles to like 14-mile bike ride or hiking. And the outer loop is a little bit more technical. If you are into mountain biking like I am, you've got that more technical kind of feel. And it actually, what's really nice and I appreciate about it is, depending on the day, you either have to go clockwise or counterclockwise. And so if if it's a Tuesday, you go counterclockwise, and it makes it nice because, like, for me, I go flying down corners. I'm not really that good, but like I fly, I go really fast. I love it. And I always get nervous if I go around a corner, I'm going to run into somebody, especially another biker. And so what's nice is, you have to follow that loop. And so go counterclockwise or clockwise around the loop of the lake. You kind of feel like you're a little bit safer, but it's a good ride. It's a good climb. There's a couple good like hills and climbs there. Downhill stuff, a little technical, really fun. Then if you don't have a ton of time, you got that inner loop that you can go cruise through. Also very fun. It's just shorter, but you can also go hike that. So if you want to just go walking or go running, you've got all that of an option. I definitely don't have the stamina to go run that, so that's why I bike it. But over on this side, you're gonna see camping areas. So you've got camping with cabins. So we'll draw like a little cabin right there. Look at that. That's a great drawing right there. And then you've got tent camping all throughout Fort Yargo. Nice little tent. And then you also have these yurts, which like yurts are kind of like a step in between tent, like roughing it. And then you got yurts, and then you got cabins. And so yurts are a little bit more like, you're not like living luxury camping or living out in the outdoors, but you're still kind of roughing it. You got a little bit of comfort. So that's what a yurt is, and that you have all that options here in Fort Yargo. As well, there's like a little right in this area, there's like a not scout camp, it's just like a summer camp. So you can go send your kids there and they can learn a bunch of kind of outdoor skills and learn how to kayak, swim, all that fun stuff. And that's just right here in Winder. As well, just kind of part of being in Winder and living here, if you're just wanting to go for like a little walk. So the trails around Fort Yargo are all dirt, but there is this one trailhead right here called Wilkins Greenway Trailhead that, if you see, it goes kind of like this and it goes right into Fort Yargo, and it's an actual walking trail. So it's got paved, it's a paved walking trail. You can cruise right on in. You can see a lot of the nature, the river that kind of runs along here, like this little stream. It's a nice little walk. You can bike on it, push your stroller, whatever it is. Good little area. Right over here, so another kind of option. I've shown you Legacy Park, I've shown you Fort Yargo, things to do. The other one, if any of your kids are into sports, this is where they're going to be hanging out. Wow, that is a horrible drawing. Hold on. Let's do that again. So right here, it's called Victor Lord Park. This is where you're going to find tennis courts, soccer courts, football, baseball, softball, pickleball courts are there. There's a dog park there. There you go. But that's all in this area. So if any of your kids are into the sports, or you're wanting to put them into sports, you do have that option. And this is all where they're probably going to be playing those sports at Victor Lord Park. Very massive kind of sports complex, you could say, here in Winder. And just, again, another place you can go walk around, go watch some games, or, you're taking your kids, you got your chair and pop it out and you're sitting on the sidelines watching your kids play some sports. Zooming back out, this airport, just so you know, everybody always kind of asks, like, is this like an actual airport? It's not for big, massive planes. You can't fly into Winder, Georgia. You have to fly into Atlanta. But it is, maybe someday, hey, that'd be great. That's a good idea. Maybe somebody should come out here and build this into a massive airport. I'd love it. And I don't have to ever drive into Atlanta. Now, another good idea, just so you know, with Winder, it is this growing community. And so homes, and we're actually going to show you a couple of homes right now. You have this great variety between historic homes and these kind of old style homes, because it is an older community and you've got that kind of historic feel on this like downtown area. And so you're going to have those older homes that you can go in and update the inside, do whatever you want, do a little, it's a little fixer upper, whatever it is, it's your own project. You've got that as an option. Whereas on the outskirts of Winder, you have kind of the newer communities being built. You've got the newer homes and all that stuff. So you have a good option of where it's like, if you want a new home, you've got that here in Winder. If you want an older home, you've got that here in Winder. You can find what works for you. But right now, the median home price is actually $300,000. So that's why we talk about it. It's this affordability. Is you're going to find a lot of homes in that $300,000 price range. You can go up, you can go down. If you go up, you might get more land, you might have more home. There's a lot of great options, and it's let's actually show you those things right now. So let's jump over to this other screen. We're going to just look in Zillow. If you just see on this side, right here, 410,000, 2,500 square feet, 3 bedrooms, 3 baths. See, pretty newly updated interior. So just kind of scrolling through here, you can kind of see, we're going to try to get a good idea of the homes. Right here next to downtown, you've got, as I mentioned, the older homes. You've got that four-sided brick homes, 3 bedrooms, 2 baths. It's a ranch style interior, so you can go in, you know, do your updates, whatever you want to do, make it yours if you want to fix your upper kind of thing. But 1,200 square feet, 3,000, 3 bedrooms, 2 baths. And so as you get further out, you've got these newer homes. So you can see this is a newer style home, 3,500 square feet, $500,000 for 5 bedrooms, 4 baths, and it sits on a little under, like, about a third of an acre. So you got a little land and pretty big sized home for 500,000. As you can see, let's look at this, 680. So this is an older home for 3,600. 5 bedrooms, 5 baths, 3,600 square feet, 680,000, 1.8 acres. So almost 2 acres, built back in 1984. So you've got that older home built with, you know, that got all the kind of older stuff. I mean, inside it looks like they've updated the interior, but you know, you could go do some new stuff if you wanted to there, but you have that older home. Let's check out the outside. There's that, oh, look at that staircase. That's kind of nice. I like that brick staircase right there. Looks like a longer driveway up. Keep scrolling. I want to know where those stairs go to. That's my curiosity right there. And anyways, you got your backyard right here, shed in the back, got a porch right here. Anyways, very nice. Right there in Winder, beautiful sunroom. Let's see, 285. Another kind of 4-wall brick home right there. 285, 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, 1,000 square feet. 46, newer home right there, ranch style, 2,100 square feet, 400,000. Brick home, 2,000 square feet. Looks like it's along a little more land. So yeah, I mean, yeah, hopefully this kind of gives a good idea of what you can kind of expect. 699, 700,000. Whoa. I mean, clear out here a little bit more further out, you've got this home, 950,000, 4,800 square feet, 4 bedrooms, 5 baths. Wow. Brick, looks like that was brick exterior. Very nice interior. I mean, this looks like a brand new, very pretty. You've got a really big range of homes out here. 475 for 2,500 square feet, almost an acre. So just depending on what your kind of needs are and what you're looking for, you have those options here in Winder. As you can kind of see, and as we've walked through a few of the homes and kind of showed you a little bit of them, you've got a lot in that price range, 300,000. But if you're looking for more budget wise, if you're wanting more home, more space, you know, you can move up and start to get, you know, different options in terms of styles of homes. I mean, right here, 406,000. Anyway, so you got like this home, 406,000, 2,700 square feet. Very new. This looks like it. So it's built back in this year, 2025, new home, 4 bedrooms, 3 baths, 2,700 square feet right here in Winder, Georgia. So you've got a very big option in terms of homes from, you know, 285 under 300,000, 200s, you know, 240s. You've got right there, 240,000, 3 bedrooms, 1 bath, 1,200 square feet. Right next to Fort Yargo, walking distance to Fort Yargo. Great options. So whether you're looking to move to Winder in the next 9 or 90 days, feel free to reach out to us, give us a call, shoot us a text, whatever you'd like to do. Hopefully this video helped you kind of get a good idea of what Winder is, where it's located, give you a good idea of the location and kind of the options that you have there in terms of homes. We hope that helps you, and we hope to see you on the next video. Until then, see you. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.